Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish Series Stars. I'm so glad you tuned in today, because what we're about to explore is tender, nostalgic, and deeply human, the kind of story that lingers in the chest like a half-remembered melody. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the family. And if you've been with us for a while, thank you for being here again. Before we dive in, make sure you're subscribed and your notifications are on, so you never miss a moment of our heartfelt deep dives into the lives and emotions that captivate us all. Now, let's slip into the mood of today's video, the way a single song can stir up everything Alp Navras once felt for Alina Boz. You know that feeling, a piece of music plays and suddenly you're not just hearing it, you're reliving something. It's like someone opens a door you didn't realize was still unlocked. A scent comes back, a look resurfaces, a laugh you thought you'd forgotten rings right in your ear. That's what we're talking about, a melody strong enough to pull someone back to the exact place where it all felt golden and real. Picture Alp, late at night, the city quieting down beyond his windows. His phone is on the table, face down, the room lit only by a lamp and the faint glow of the street. He hovers over a playlist he hasn't touched in months, maybe longer, and there it is. That song. He taps it, and for a moment he almost regrets it, because time stops. The present dims. The music begins softly, a few notes at first, and then it floods the room. He can almost see her right there, Alina. The curve of a smile that used to pull him in, the way she'd look at him when the world felt too loud. Whether it's a melancholic ballad or something upbeat that once scored their happiest afternoons, he's gone, just like that, into memory. Sometimes we tell ourselves it's the lyrics that do it, and sometimes it's just the movement of sound. The timing of a drumbeat, the ache in a piano chord, the shimmer of a guitar tone that belonged to a spring afternoon on the Bosphorus, or a sleepy Sunday spent making omelets that turned out slightly wrong and somehow perfect. For Alp, that track connects to a handful of moments that shaped the rhythm of everything he felt for Alina. Maybe it was playing the first day they dared to spend time without the safety net of a crowd. Maybe it followed them into a car ride out of the city, the windows down, their voices colliding as they sang the chorus badly and without caring. Maybe it was there the night he realized the shape of his life had changed, and he was willing to rearrange it again and again if it meant she was part of the pattern. Think of those fragments, her laugh when the radio glitched and repeated the same line. His hand on the wheel, her head leaned against the passenger window, a pause that said more than any conversation, silence that wasn't really silence because they were both listening, each imagining the future. Nostalgia is often mislabeled as sadness alone. But it's richer than that, isn't it? It carries gratitude for what once felt simple, awe for what once felt possible, a kind of reverence for who we were when the world wasn't crowded with second thoughts. When Alp hears that song, it isn't just about remembering Alina, it's about remembering how it felt to be fully seen. It's the warmth of a shared secret. It's the safety of a promise that didn't need words. It's the surprise of realizing you can be both fragile and bold when the right person is sitting beside you. And yet, music also has edges. There are notes that cut a little, because they recall the moment things stopped aligning. That very same chorus might have been echoing through a cafe when they agreed to create some space. It might have been playing in the background the night a misunderstanding settled like fog and wouldn't lift, no matter how many times they tried to clear the air. If that's the memory attached to the song, then it's not just sweet, it's complicated. It tastes like longing and acceptance at the same time, a mix of what if and maybe we did our best, a soft sting that suggests there was something precious, and it deserved a gentler ending than the one it got. This is the strange power of music, it's the friend who never forgets, the witness with a perfect memory. A melody takes the chronology of a relationship and binds it to the senses. A chord progression becomes an address, a rhythm becomes a date on a calendar, and a lyric becomes a vow you once made while laughing, not realizing that life would quote it back to you later and ask, quietly, if you still mean it. For Alp, listening now, the song might trigger a question he thought he'd retired: is it too late to call? Is it brave or foolish to reach out? Or is it wiser to place his hand over his heart, let the music finish, and thank it for carrying a love that, even if it's paused or changed shape, refuses to be erased? We like to think stories are told by actions alone, but sounds do their own storytelling. Consider their small rituals. Maybe there was a dinnertime playlist, the one they used when they were learning each other's tastes, where one track was hers, one was his, and they met in the middle. Maybe there was a song for rainy mornings, one they played while sipping coffee in oversized mugs, watching the city soften behind a misted window. Maybe there was a single track so intimate that it was their shorthand for I miss you, a message disguised as music when work and obligations pushed them apart. When you build a life with someone, even temporarily, you leave breadcrumbs in the form of melodies. And those breadcrumbs don't vanish, they settle in the seams of your days. That's why, when the song arrives again, out of nowhere, or by deliberate choice, it can knock the wind out of you. But is that a bad thing? Or is it a gift? Here's a thought, it's both. It's a gift because it offers proof that what you lived wasn't imaginary, it mattered. It shaped you. It taught you how to love better, how to listen closer. It's painful because it reminds you of the cost of caring, the courage it takes to try again or to let go. In Alp's case, the song isn't just a playback device, it's a compass. It tests his direction. Is he meant to step forward, call Alina, and say the words that never found their way out? Or is the lesson gentler, a suggestion to honor what was, keep the door of compassion open, and carry that softness into whatever comes next? There's a reason our most universal stories involve music. No matter where we're from, we know the shock of a melody that sends us time traveling. We've all been that person who stops mid-sentence because a familiar intro sneaks into a room and unlocks something we didn't plan to feel. And when we look at Alp and Alina through that lens, we don't just watch them, we see ourselves. We see the best version of ourselves riding shotgun in a car we used to own, singing off-key to a chorus that taught us who we were. Some of you will ask what kind of song this might be for them. Is it a timeless pop classic with a chorus everyone knows by heart? Is it a modern ballad that speaks in quiet declarations? Or is it an instrumental track that carries the hush of a promise without a single word? If it's widely known, then the impact is instant, you hear it and you feel included, part of a world where love has a soundtrack and the chorus belongs to everyone. But if it's a private melody, recorded quietly, never released, or shared only on late-night drives and living room dances, then the song becomes a secret language. Either way, it holds power, because power isn't always in the fame of a tune, it's in the meaning it collects within a relationship. Imagine how it would play out in a video. We open on soft, grainy footage of Istanbul at dusk, lights flickering on across the water. Cut to an empty room with a record spinning, a shadow moving across a wall. We hear a voiceover musing on what it means to remember someone without summoning them. Then the music rises, and with it a montage. Hands passing a mug, the quick brush of fingers in a hallway, shared glances over a table, a window cracked open at midnight because they liked the sound of rain. The visuals don't need to show everything, suggestion is enough. The song does the heavy lifting. It carries emotion the way the sea carries light. But the song can also be the marker of a turning point. It might be the same track that played when they chose to pause, or the one Alp selected when he needed to sit inside the ache a little, the way you press on a bruise because you need to know how much it still hurts. That's a different kind of nostalgia, the one that holds both love and lesson. It doesn't erase the past, it curates it. It allows sorrow to coexist with tenderness, and in that coexistence there's wisdom. The heart, after all, becomes stronger not by refusing to break, but by healing well. So what does the song do now? Does it nudge Alp toward action? Maybe he drafts a message he never sends, or perhaps he dials and hangs up before it connects. Maybe he takes a walk instead, following the city's quiet streets until he can breathe in rhythm with the night again. Or maybe the song gives him courage, real courage, the kind that comes from clarity, to reach out with no agenda, no demand, just honesty. It could also be that he doesn't reach out at all, because the call the song is making isn't to Alina, but to himself. It might be reminding him to keep his heart soft, to respect the love they shared by becoming the man that love asked him to be. And for Alina, somewhere across town, perhaps the same melody finds her too. Not at the same hour, not in the same room, but with the same gentle insistence. Maybe she hears a few bars while scrolling, pauses, and lets it play. Memory does what memory does, arrives, sits, and makes itself comfortable. She looks out a window, and the city looks back, unchanged and yet different. In that overlap, something quiet happens. The past doesn't demand to return, it simply asks to be acknowledged. The shared song becomes a small bridge suspended over time. What makes this feel so universal is that we all have our version of that bridge. For some of us it's an old love packed carefully into a playlist. For others it's the soundtrack of a house that no longer exists, or a friendship that lives in a certain chord progression. We're not alone in the way music traces our lives. It's a language older than any we speak with our mouths. It's the echo of our best days and our bravest goodbyes. Now, before we close, let's imagine one final scene, the same song playing once more, not as a plea but as a blessing. The camera lingers on a doorway left ajar, on the outline of a photograph tucked into a book, on a pair of keys in a bowl by the entrance. The music swells, and you realize that this isn't a story about loss at all. It's a story about having been lucky enough to feel something worth remembering. Alp listens, and in that listening he finds gratitude. Alina listens, and she finds the same. Whether their paths cross again is less important than what they carry forward. The melody, after all, is still there, patient, kind, and honest. That's the magic we came here to talk about, how a song can preserve the essence of what we loved without demanding we stay trapped in the past. It lets us visit, breathe it in, and return with gentler hands. So tell me, what's your song? Which melody pulls you into a moment you thought had drifted away? Share it below, because your stories matter here. They help us recognize ourselves. And if today's journey moved you, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who understands the language of music, and subscribe to Turkish series Stars for more stories that touch the heart. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, keep listening for the notes that remind you who you are and who you have loved.